Duse in the dark. BT.
Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. Jump on it, jump on it.
Jump on it, jump on it. Ride it like taxis. The hell smoking that loud, they see yak with mine. Make your mama proud, popping it like shotty. Turn up, it's a gangster party.
PT, ain't never popped a Molly. But if I ever catch Mac, I'ma pop a Holly. I don't even rob a cop the Harley. Blowing so much green, I shame Marley. Yeah, I push the line to its full limit. Hit the hole like 22, boy, I'm a young Emmett. Nothing go like snow, now that's a cold image. Still whistling, sending, knocking them white women. Only reason I do it to avenge Emmett. Till the day they go before anything box me out. Knowing me, it don't matter, I simply change my route. On my hobby.
Where's? Welcome to the Damu Kiwe Conversations. Home of the West Coast. See that big old W covering up the globe. The voice of the culture. It's Duse the Don. We right back at it just like a crack at it. Hey, listen, bro. We really finna get deep into some content today. Well, not just today, moving forward, we're going to get more into the revolutionary, the knowledge, the science, the politics outside of just CS2 back. See, we won that war. We not going to relitigate history. You know, the dig might be. Salute Kid the Barber. Salute. Bang that like button on y'all way in. You know what I'm saying? Bang that like button on y'all way in. Welcome to the Damu and Kiwe Conversations, man. I'm the host, Duse the Don, and I'm just very fortunate to have y'all today, man. Make sure y'all share this. Y'all letting everybody know that we live, because whenever we run this kind of content, YouTube doesn't open up the algorithm to this. Kid the Barber, salute. Carolina Connect TV, salute to you also, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we got the content, ETE, Grandioso VL. Is that Vice Lord? Wes, blessings, family, man. Blessings to you. Man, I got to share this in what you call it. I hope everybody enjoy this. Spirit Wonder, Wes, Drew V. Salute Duse the Don. Salute Damu Kiwe family and everybody in the chat. Shout out to the Blue Wrench mob, man. You know what I'm saying? See, what niggas will never understand the relentless of a brim riding for a neighborhood crip. Man, I respect that out of you, Duse, for real, mad love, bro. Yeah, they won't never respect it, and I don't do it for them. I do it because I'm just a loyal brother like that. I'm a tourist. You see them bull horns? You know what I'm saying? So when somebody show me that loyalty, it's very hard, sometimes to a fault, for me to turn against them. You know what I'm saying? And they got to really do some scandalous official stack city skulls. Salute. They got to really do some scandalous things for me to turn against them, especially at this stage in my life, especially over some gang-related BS, man. I'm kind of like, I've been elevated past a modern thug, you know what I'm saying? A local gang banger, you know what I'm saying? That was like the first stage, bro. You know what I'm saying? Always slap that like button on my way in. Like TD slap wax dome. Facts. Drew V, salute, bro. Salute. Let me share this in the Discord and all of that, man. And I hope that y'all sharing it. I'll be sharing it as we get into this. But let's start it off like this, matter of fact. We could get right into the content. So from Elvis to Trap Lord Ross, the long history of exploiting black music, man. This is what we're going to get into, and I'm going to take y'all through history, and we're going to get into some real deep stuff. Trap Lord Ross, man, I mean, he got to be MI6 or CIA or something, bro. You know what I'm saying? Bang that like button. We going to fry him today. He got the right one. You know what I'm saying? Let's go right here. Let's start here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's start right here, man.
from seeing my thing.
I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna lie. I still was asking was you the police, even when
this nigga asked me. He's like, I think he the feds for real, bro.
The feds.
I'm like, bro.
I just asked that when I just seen you the first time at the bowling alley. Like when once the shit was over, I'm like, bro, you sure you don't think he the police?
Damn.
So he like, nah, bro. I just think he does it because this why I say that, bro. You got shit
Rich
that if you had to been watching. It's people that don't even be in front of our camera, and you had their tweets and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you had to been doing some type of research, like since the first when I came out when I was a shorty or Welch World first got created, you had to been keeping track of that. Or I just felt like you helped to get some help with getting it put together. I ain't gonna lie, I thought your ass was the Fed.
But you thought he had Fed help.
I thought your ass was I don't know. I still be kind of wondering. I don't know.
No, but
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm being honest. I still be wondering because I don't know shit. You from the UK, some motherfucker way. You could be a UK Fed or something.
From seeing my thing.
Yeah, he acting as if that's out of the realms of possibilities, right? You know what I'm saying? So this is what's going on. And then here goes another one. Let's see if we can show y'all this. Bang that like button, man. The people's coming in. They coming in slow. You know what I'm saying? So there you got the youngster already saying that he thought Trap Lord Ross, this UK dude, was a Fed. Just how he moving. When somebody show you their face, you gotta believe that's who they is, bro. Let's go.
So people calling me the Feds. Apparently now I am the Fed. Apparently the Feds are literally. Apparently I'm a rung above the Feds now. All right, I can't believe what I'm seeing, people. I've just gone online. I've gone on the timeline, and I've seen Remo from No Jumper has posted a clip that's apparently from the actual news saying that the Feds or the cops or whoever's operating the police operations in Jacksonville looking into the murder of Fulio have created a matrix listing exactly who is involved in the murder of Fulio and the adjacent gangs.
And arrival of the ATK and 1200 gang in Jacksonville.
I've had a look at this. The Feds have not come up with this. That's my matrix from the Jacksonville video. That's mine. That's actually, I made that. I made that myself.
Some members of this group have been known to represent under the S4C, Team Michi, Bevel 5 or B5, Lil Popper, Greenlight, Lil Leaky, and Shook. So that's the ATK crew.
So people calling me the Feds. Apparently now I am the Fed. Apparently the Feds are literally.
So at the expense of federal RICOs, when one of the elements is to identify them with a so-called gang, and I say so-called gang because that was the label that they utilized to criminalize black people coming together in larger than group of three, right? I remember being a kid walking up Vermont with Booger and Shine, rest in peace, Brimbone, right? And we going to go play basketball at the church on 36 in Vermont or USC, whichever one. We always go play basketball at the different places, the gyms or whatever. And the police pull us over. We was like 10, 11 years old. We weren't no gang members or nothing, you know. And they was like, why is y'all stopping us for? You know what I'm saying? What the F is y'all stopping us for? They like, because it's three of y'all. If anytime there's three or more people walking together, that's a gang. And that gives them probable cause to stop you because black people come together. You know how powerful our people got to be where three kids, 10 and 11 years old, have to be under some suspicion of being a threat to the big bad LAPD. But anyway, in any event, when they show you who they is, you got to pay attention. So they saying the feds pointed out the information that was given and said that was the police or the informant or whatever. And he said, that was me. That came from me. So the police is utilizing whatever information you've been volunteered. Here you are pointing out people with associations doing the police job. And then you try to insult niggas' intelligence as if motherfuckers don't know you doing police work. Oh, hold on, they saying I'm the feds. Like it's a big joke. You think the life for these young black males, these YNs, is a joke, huh? I'm just make sure you keep that energy, player.
So people calling me the feds. Apparently now I am the Fed. Apparently the feds are literally. Apparently I'm a rung above the feds now. All right, I can't believe what I'm seeing, people. I've just gone online. I've gone on the timeline, and I've seen Remo from No Jumper has posted a clip that's apparently from the actual news, saying that the feds or the cops or whoever's operating the police operations in Jacksonville, looking into the murder of Fulio, have created a matrix listing exactly who is involved in the murder of Fulio and the adjacent.
And arrival of the ATK and 1200 gang in Jacksonville.
I've had a look at this. The feds have not come up with this. That's my matrix from the Jacksonville's video. That's mine. That's actually, I made that. I made that myself.
Some members of this group have been known to represent under the S4C, Team Michi, Bevel 5 or B5, Lil Popper, Greenlight, Lil Leaky, and Suge. So that's the ATK crew.
So people calling me the feds. Apparently now I am the Fed. Apparently the feds are literally. Apparently I'm a rung above the feds now. So people call.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and he insults our intelligence right in front of us, right? And this is just basically how they doing it. So we'll get to the other video later, but let's go into the history of people exploiting our culture, Black culture, right? And then I heard some people say, oh, Black African Americans don't have no culture. Do you understand the resilience? Do you understand the wars? Do you understand the resistance that we had to put up fighting against all odds for 400 years? Do you know how many uprisings in maroon encampments there was throughout the Americas? Costa Rica, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, the United States, the Seminoles, all throughout those. Seminoles is a runaway slave, same as a maroon, same meaning. The Seminole War, the first and the second, those were maroon encampments. The Trail of Tears was the agreement between Levi. Wake up. He seemed like he having a nightmare. But this first Seminole War and the second Seminole War, they couldn't have that kind of symbol of resistance like we had in Florida, not in the deep, dirty South, the land of slaves and Jim Crow. So the president sent the military in there not once, but twice. The first time, they couldn't do nothing. But in any event, it comes to a point where they give the agreement to move us to Indian territory. And another time, on the Trail of Tears, we get bamboozled and exploited out of land promised to us. This is nasty work. So let's get into the industry and how Black creativity get exploited. So the pattern of how music executives exploited Black artists from the early 1900s into the modern era, the U.S. music industry was structured in ways that allow labels almost entirely run by white executives to extract value from Black talent while denying Black artists ownership, royalties, and creative control. Key mechanisms included a denial of copyrights and patents from the late 1800s to the 1900s. If you came up or created something, invented something, whether it was a book, whether it was a light bulb, whether it was the wheel, whether it was a car, you cannot secure a patent. You cannot, if you wrote a song, you cannot secure the copyright. You couldn't even own your own work. So after slavery, after 400 years, well, about 200 and some change in slavery, for those of us who are descendants of slavery, I'm definitely one. I'm a swamp nigga. You know what I'm saying? Not a house nigga. Not a field nigga. A swamp nigga. I'm like Nat Turner. I'm the one that's gonna have to hide in a swamp because I'd have knocked down old Master's head off with his head. You dig? But if you descend from slavery, it was 200 plus years of slavery. Then after Emancipation Proclamation, or a little bit after that, some states still have slavery in that is law, but it's just supposed to be state voted or something. But in any event, like Kansas, right? But in any event, you come up with a song, you couldn't even copyright it. All of the exclusive rights that come with copywriting your music, you couldn't do it because you was black. So forget the 200 and something year advantage from slavery. Even after slavery, they made sure that they kept our people at the boot of white supremacy. They gave them even longer head start, right? Black inventors and musicians often couldn't secure patents due to discriminatory laws and practices, had songs published without credit or sold for pennies, and had their music re-recorded or covered by white artists with no legal recourse. Imagine that. You make a song because you couldn't secure the copyright, they exploit your music. People that don't look like us. You know what I mean? Majority. And you record it. Hey, we're going to sign you to a deal. Oh, yeah, how much you going to pay? I'm going to give you a penny. 10 pennies. And you like, damn, man, 10 pennies. At least I'll be able to get me some vegetables. I know the wife, she been looking for some meat. We've been eating mitten. The soup is watered down with no meat. She probably needs some meat up on her thing. Yeah, let's go, man. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Not understanding the value of that intellectual property. And you record the song and you say, well, at least I'm gonna have clout. At least I'm gonna be famous. My girl could see me performing this song and she's gonna be real proud of me. My kids gonna be real proud of me. And they take that away from you. And they give the music to Elvis Presley. Let's go to this video real quick on Elvis, and then we'll break that down more. Bang that like button, man. You know what I'm saying? This is some nasty work, bro. Hey, man, I love y'all. Black people, y'all are so powerful. Let's get to it.
People dislike Elvis Presley. Elvis borrowed from the music of lesser-known black rhythm and blues artists that he heard as a teenager, like Big Mama Thornton, and Big Joe Turner.
I did shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll.
When white artists cover the music of lesser-known black artists, there's always the danger of being accused of cultural appropriation. The blues music that Elvis and a lot of other rock and rollers borrowed from was created and performed by black artists who were relegated to a genre that was known as race music. In the early part of the 20th century, this was how the powers that be classified black music that was deemed to be unsuitable to be played on mostly white mainstream radio. These black artists never got the chance to be heard by larger audiences and earn the kind of money that Elvis and other artists who copied them did. But was Elvis an avowed racist who claimed to have invented rock and roll? Actually, no. Elvis was quoted in a 1957 article in Jet magazine as saying he didn't invent rock and roll and nobody could sing the music like black people. Whenever anyone called him the king of rock and roll in his presence, he shunned the title. But a rumor began circulating in 1957 that he said, quote, "The only thing Negroes can do for me is buy my records and shine my shoes." The only problem is, He never said that. A popular black publication, Jet Magazine, attempted to verify the validity of this rumor at the time, but they never could. He supposedly made the statement on Edward R. Murrow's person-to-person program, but he never even appeared on that show. Those who knew him said that this would have been completely out of character for him, but the rumor persisted and hounded him for the rest of his life. B.B. King, Little Richard, Jackie Wilson, James Brown, and Muhammad Ali all expressed their admiration for him, not only as an artist, but as a human being. As to the issue of cultural appropriation, it's probably a fair accusation. Black people have been historically under-celebrated and under-acknowledged for the contributions that they've made to popular music. Many black innovators died in relative obscurity, while Elvis was dubbed the king of rock and roll. Would that crown have been better placed on the heads of rock music's true originators like Little Richard, Ruth Brown, Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, Ike?
Hey, we got a mountaineer. He said, didn't white people invent football? So would that not be black people appropriating white culture by that same logic? Just stop it. People make stuff and others make it better. America. Well, who's making hip hop better then? Because what we're talking about is exploiting them without proper representation. Now, is that the America you're talking about? We're not talking about just because they invented something. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about someone inventing something and someone else exploiting it for a bigger percentage and not even properly taking care or giving royalties, any kind of compensation, period. Period. What are you talking about? Someone who didn't make football is not giving nothing back to the game. They're just taking away from it. In fact, they control it. So imagine white people, if what you're saying is true, white people invented football, which I beg to differ with that, right? But assuming what you're saying is true, right? White people invented football. Imagine blacks on 32 teams, all 32 NFL teams, right? And the white people who made it, they couldn't out athlete these football players, the wide receivers running 4.27s, 4.3s, quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. So they started it, but they didn't even have the corn-fed offensive linemen that flood the NFL offensive and defensive line. You don't see nothing wrong with that picture? And they claim it for their own. They control it. They push the messages they want through the NFL. You don't see where that is a problem? It's called appropriation, brother. And appropriation, if that's the American way, well, fuck America. How about that? Let's get back to it.
Turner or even Louis Jordan? Probably. But Elvis was able to capture the imagination of scores of white teenagers and music industry's bigwigs who were looking for a marketable act to sell to middle America. And let's not forget, Elvis was raised in Tupelo, Mississippi and Memphis, Tennessee. He grew up listening to Big Boy Crude Up.
Well, now that's all right, no mama. That's all right for you.
Smokey, what up?
Right, mama. That's all right for you.
And Ray Charles.
So this dude talking about Get Over It. Did you just hear the song from the original who created it, who received probably little to no compensation? Remember, they couldn't copyright music. So not having that right, which today in America under 17 USC, anyone who creates an original thought, whether it's a song, a tempo, and they make a tangible evidence of it and register it with the Copyright Office, is protected by copyright law. 17 USC. Today, that's America. You're trying to justify when they didn't allow black people to even do that. Does it hurt you to hear the truth of the evil ways that your people got ahead in this country? I mean, sometimes when somebody put a mirror in front of you and you see the horns and tails, it kind of hurts inside. That's kind of like why some of y'all like to unalive your parents. You know what I'm saying? Parents unaliving their children. You understand? Kind of like one of the reasons why y'all only 8% of this planet right now. Keep up. Let's go.
You, well, that's all right, mama.
And Elvis Presley is singing this man's song. Uncompensations, no representation, no equality, but get over it. That's America. Fuck America. Let's go.
That's all right for you.
And Ray Charles.
I got a woman, I got a woman, way across town.
Side by side with the bluegrass and country artists of his day, he was no Pat Boone. My name is Dara Tucker, and I put out an album this year of social justice music called Dreams of Waking. You can find it at the link in my bio.
Hey, wait a minute. Did you see this weirdo? He said, how about dreadlocks? They were originally worn by Hindus in India. Cat. We could go back to 1800 BC and you will be able to see the dreadlocks worn by an ancient Kemet in statues of pharaohs. Maybe you need to get back and study. I don't know about his story, but maybe you need to go study history, because you're definitely wrong on that. And just so you know, India used to be called Ethiopia East. Just so you know, at that point, this would be when y'all was still in the Caucasus Mountains, you know, slave dwelling, before you guys understood how to bathe, before you guys even endured the Black Plague, right? From not bathing, from sleeping with dogs, eating food that wasn't properly cooked, right? When y'all were doing that, ancient Kemet, Kush, in Sudan, these were the New Yorks and Los Angeles hubs of civilization, irrigation systems that went 50 miles out of the city to take their waste. You ain't gotta believe me. Do your research, study history, and not just his story. Agriculture, brain surgery. You guys had never heard of anything like that. So I can understand you getting it mixed up on where dreadlocks were first worn at. But just remember, India, before it was India, was Hindustan. Before it was Hindustan, it was called Ethiopia East. Matter of fact, let me teach you something real quick. Boy, we gonna teach the boy something real quick. Let's see. Give me a bear minute. See, one thing about a lot of One thing about a lot of mountaineers, they think that, especially in the Americas, they think that our people should only be at the boot of white supremacy. Do you understand that ancient, some classical and medieval writers talk about Eastern Ethiopia or Ethiopians of the East to refer to dark-skinned peoples living near or in India? Do you understand that? Were you able to see that? Or you do understand that we had trade lines all the way to China coming from the motherland? I know it's hard for you to believe, coming from that white supremacist mind state that you've been embedded with. You know what I'm saying? Your people lied to you. They lied to your parents, who lied to you. Maybe your parents didn't know they was being lied to, but chances is they did know and they didn't care. They were trying to further white supremacy. But anyway, let's get back to the content. But salute to the Mountaineers, man. I'm glad that we got a Mountaineer here. Hang around. You're going to learn a lot, brother. You know what I'm saying? So that was the story on why a lot of black people don't like Elvis Presley. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into some other people who appropriated hip hop. Let's start with Robin Thicke. Let's start with Robin Thicke, man. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. Maybe he's upset because we look, those laws weren't in effect those days. What laws weren't in effect those days? Yes, they were, bro. Walter Camp was a Mason also. Okay, I didn't know that. That's not even the same thing, bro. They are now many guitarists like Kenny Wayne Shepherd. A white blues guitarist always brings an old blues guitarist like Buddy Guy and make sure people know he was the reason this is how we got it. Of course, you're going to have some people. We're not talking about those people who pay homage. We're talking about culture vultures. So I know you might have the caucasity to come over here and the galls to come up over here with in all of your caucasity, right, and white privilege to come over here and tell us and defend the white people. You don't have to defend all white people. All white people don't behave and aren't culture vultures. We're talking about those that are culture vultures, those that exploit, take advantage of, and utilize their prestige, their position and status in this country, that privilege to take advantage of those who lack the resources and opportunities that they were afforded by birthright. See the difference? Now, if you got a problem with that, then hey, man, you know what I'm saying? A gangster and a gentleman. So let's get to this one real quick. Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke defends accusations of culture vulturing. Savannah James briefly steps into the spotlight with a new interview, More and Pics. So let me read this to you. And I do know how to read, so I hope you don't believe in that stereotype. Webbies, did y'all miss us? Well, don't despair. We got some social heat for y'all. Robin Thicke spoke of his love of black culture on the We in Miami podcast. He mentioned the names of family members involved with some aspects of black artistic and societal experiences. However, he addressed how many members of our community accuse him of being a culture vulture. Robin dropped some bars and said, haters are supposed to be teachers. Many listeners were on the fence with his perspectives, while most honored the fact he was married to biracial actress Paula Patton. Wait a minute. So We will accept you as long as you can stick slong in one of our women. You're good by us. I remember Massa used to do all kind of things in the hen house. Was Massa cool? I guess y'all custom with that. Was Massa part of that same struggle? I'm just asking. Y'all tell me. Matter of fact, we're gonna make a poll about that afterward. But they said a lot of people, damn, our people are so loving, man. Sometimes too inviting and accepting. You know what I'm saying? Haters are supposed to be teachers. Many listeners were on the fence with his perspective, while most honored the fact that he was married to biracial actress Paula Patton. His honorary black card is still up for review due to the statement of Nicoya 187. Riot then next time a police officer kill one of us. And that's real. Many white entertainers love to profit from black genius, but rarely speak up when police brutalize our lives. Rihanna got out, all right, and then it goes into Rihanna or whatever, but it changes directions. But that was just a little bit on Robin Thicke. So people say, well, he married a black woman, man. Y'all are so accepting. Everyone knows Elvis ripped off black blues music. Shit was racist back then. It was the only way it could be brought to the other side at those times. It was the only way it could be brought to the other way sometimes. So fuck that they were you just run right past the fact that they were exploited. Their intellectual property, which has an equitable value. It's the same equitable value or mortgage in a copyright as in a home, right? And this intellectual property that has a right to transfer, you can sign over security agreements, some of the value of and equity that's within that copyright. Those people were ripped off from that. The benefit of that, which was resources, economic resources, and it takes money to make money. So by them being ripped off, and you're talking about, well, the only way to get it through was through white people. Get it through the white. Who gives a fuck about them white people getting to hear this music? If we're not benefiting it financially, but the white people are, they're partying to it, they're making money off of it, they're able to accumulate wealth off of it and pass that wealth on to the next generation. You just jump right past that part, right? Like, oh, that's just the way it is. It was wrong. You're right. And we're talking about the effects. Looking back from now, his great grandchildren should be owning the masters to Elvis Presley's catalog. Any song that was written by him that was stolen. I mean, I seen intellectual property paintings, right? I seen paintings that were owned by Jewish people that were stolen in World War II or World War I. Don't quote me on which one they were stolen from, tracked down and found, and they got to return that intellectual property, that painting, because they were able to prove that it was created and owned by their family member in Germany. Why it's not the same when it comes to that? Why is it brushed right over the fact of what, oh, that happened, so what? Move. That was the only way you guys got to shine. The white people got to listen to your music. Okay, I don't just make music for people to enjoy it. I make music because I'm trying to make generational wealth to pass on to my seed and my seed. So, I mean, maybe that's where the conflict's coming in. You're in your privilege. You've recognized the wrong and just bypassed it and jumped to, oh, well, whatever, waved it off. It was the only way that people would have heard it. Because white people know I could sing that motherfucker in my shower if that's what I decide to do, if I'm the one that created that intellectual property. Imagine me make this microphone right here, right? And I'm people say, well, nobody's going to be able to use your microphone and this and this and that. So you're not making any money. We're gonna make sure all of the white people get to use it, but you won't make $1. Well, fuck them. You can't tell me what to sell this microphone for. You know what I'm saying? I created it. I put the value on it, and we'll see what it does on the open market. That's the American way. You were just talking about good old America earlier. Now it seems like you got an issue with them being deprived of the American way. I mean, you don't have an issue with them being deprived of the American way. You see the hypocrisy? You know what I'm saying? Good content. Frank Nitty, salute, bro. Y'all make sure y'all bang that like button on your way in. Southern Force, what up? Let me send this down there to you. I didn't even see you, bro. I was really trying to break this down, hoping that the Mountaineer could catch on. There were definitely some that stole songs off some because they could, but bad things happen. and for my people, they tend to come from your people. You know what I'm saying? But bad things happen. Just run that off like that. This shit is crazy, bro. You see, the caucasity, bro. They say that Polo Ken said Trap Lord Ross is the feds. All right, Rooster World, then have your ass on the road chasing your money. Damn, you cooking tonight. This is what we do. Comedian Terrell, salute. Kings Gambino, salute. They invented football but kept ownership. Knock it off, whoever that is. Right, motherfuckers talking that shit, just don't understand and probably never will. That's a troll, bro. Don't focus on that sucker called Cassidy. I'm still in that. Yeah, the audacity and caucasity. He came over here, but he's insensitive. I mean, can't nobody wear our chucks. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody walk a mile in our chucks, bro. That's why we are who we are. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Robin Thicke, right? Let's go to Robin Thicke. You know what I'm saying? Go back to Robin Thicke.
The following song resulted in one of the biggest music lawsuits. So in 2013, members of Marvin Gaye's family sued Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams. They claimed that Blurred Lines was a ripoff of Marvin's 1977 song, Gotta Give It Up. And I'll play you guys the song. 2 years later, the Gaye family won the case, and the court ordered Robin and Pharrell to pay them $7 million, though this was eventually reduced to $5.3 million. Robin and Pharrell denied that they copied the song, so of course they appealed this. But the court still sided with the Gaye family, and they became $5.3 million richer. T.I. was also featured on the song, but luckily for him, he was off the hook because his verse was too short. Now I'm going to play both songs side by side, and I want you all to let me know what you think of this lawsuit.
Everybody get up.
Hey!
The following song resulted in one of the biggest music lawsuits.
They say imitation is a form of flattery. But don't flatter my ego, flatter my pockets. You dig? So my boy all right, Slim Fat Dude, he said he just got the Ethiopian Bible. That's what's up. Well, let's go. Samson had dreads. Samson. In fact, the dreads was his superpower. But I guess he doesn't, up under his doctrines, he might not even believe in God. And even if he do, he might not believe and understand that book, the Bible, a lot of that took place and was about the people, the children of Israel in the hills and wilderness of North America today. Maybe he might not understand that translation, but that was one way to let you know about your dreads theory. You know what I'm saying? But let a person, black person or Hispanic, use a snippet of the Beach Boys or the Monkees or Elvis. They'll be suing you for everything you have, bro. Facts. You know what I'm saying? You got one more time, Kevin. Oh, yeah. Hey, Frank Nitty said proof. 1500 BC is the first evidence of dreadlocks in history. Google it. How we gonna Google it? How we gonna Google it? You talking about that's the first evidence of dreadlocks? Google it, man. First and foremost, bro. Respectfully, your people at that point were still trying to coming up out of the Eurasian steeps. You know what I'm saying? Conquering, pillaging, and graping. You know what I'm saying? I don't think y'all were present to know what was going on. You do understand that Homo sapiens sapiens began 300,000 years ago. 300,000. Well, but 180,000 and this and that. Man, listen, bro. 300,000 years ago. The beings that we are, the prototype. Let's talk about this real quick. The prototype. Not no grafted, not no subspecies. You dig what I'm saying? We are not the same species. Emmanuel Bullock, salute. Thanks for the cash app. We really appreciate it, bro. You know what I'm saying? We are not a subspecies. You guys are like aliens to us, bro. You guys are a subspecies. You got birds, but you got different kind of birds. You got reptiles, but you got different species of reptiles. Dinosaurs were reptiles, right? Is a dinosaur the exact same thing as a little lizard? No. Is a pit bull the same thing as a poodle? No. Some of them have different characteristics. You guys came with a lot of different germs, a different biology and genetic makeup, a different nature that was not natural to this earth, was not natural to this universe. Where we got you melanin and the sun beams, even at me being a light-skinned brother, even though, you know, the original man come in all shapes and colors, but that you melanated gene within me, it doesn't fight off the sun, which gives life, which gives energy, which it gives the nutrients for crops to grow. It absorbs it naturally. We don't fight nature because we are of the planets. We are of the universe. You and your people, on the other hand, not so much. So forgive me for the facts, but I'm unapologetically going to be truthful. What was that? 1500 BCE. Y'all wasn't in the mix yet, bro. Y'all was still just coming up out of y'all caves. Respectfully. So I don't think you got the experience. That's like you coming to tell me to Google something because ChatGPT told you something about the Fruittown Brims and when they started and who was the founder. You don't have the experience, neither does ChatGPT, or even the background to speak on such matters. Respectfully. Let's get back to this. So hills and caves. That's Esau the barbarian. Listen, man, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? He lucky Scandalous ain't on here. You know what I'm saying? Scandalous would be eating his ass up. So hold on. First and foremost, I didn't even welcome the brother Southern Force. Welcome to the Damu Kiwe Conversations. How you doing today, brother?
Salute, brother. What's good?
Oh man, I felt proud, man. We got the Mountaineer up in here. The Atlantic Ocean was called the Ethiopian Ocean. Oh, that's a fact, bro. I think I posted that today. Yeah. If you go on Active Chucks on let me see, bro. I'm quite sure I posted it unless the post didn't go through because I was moving in traffic, messing with Maria. You know what I'm saying? Maria. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't be talking bad about old Maria, man. Maria taking good care of me, man. I just ate some mole and chicken. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I don't know how to cook. Oh, yeah. The ocean of Ethiopia. If you can't see it, go on Active Chucks to the post, and you'll be able to see it's several pictures on there, 4 pictures that I put up there of Ethiopian Ocean, which is today called the Atlantic Ocean. You know, Ethiopia, as the borders is drawn up today, but through colonization, you know, the Europeans and the Arabs, to a larger extent later on, they colonized Africa and split it up like a pizza. And they called it what they called it, how they called it, when they called it. You know what I'm saying? But those same boundaries, those are man-made. Those are made by Europeans who necessarily didn't go by what we went the guidelines did. At one point, they referred to most of the inner Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, as Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? Or Ethiopians, because of the sunburnt people or the black people or whatever, what you call it. So right there, you got Robin Thicke comes out with one of the greatest artists of his time, Marvin Gaye. His genius, his ability to speak up on political issues, right? And stand against suppression, stand against exploitation, trying to unify, brother. There's far too many of you now. You know the dig? He come with a party joint. They essentially come with the exact same thing to bring out Robin Thicke. And because he's banging a mulatto, people were saying, well, he's cool because he's banging a mulatto. You know that Holly Berry, I wish I had that link. Holly Berry this week was talking about she feels so fucked up because she's paying spousal or child support or spousal support to her ex-husband or her baby daddy, and he called her the N-word with the hard R. This is how you feel, but he was banging her. I guess he's cool and accepted too. You understand?
Nasty work.
See, yeah, bro. I was just talking about how the slave master used to defile and take from girls, from women, and even from little boys. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To take their spirit, take their soul, right? And there was little to nothing that we could do. So if someone who's already afforded a nice position, a descendant of the plantation owner only about 80 years ago, well, it might have been a little more than 80. I think my great grandmother, it's been about at least 130 years, right? At least, right? Since she was on the Blair plantation in Newberry, South Carolina, right? So imagine a descendant from the Blair plantation who benefited generation after generations off of the wealth accumulated by not having to pay their slaves. So he's a wealthy man. In fact, they are the ones that named that county. I forgot the name of the county. It'll come to me later, right? They are the ones that named that county in Newberry, South Carolina, and helped formulate that, right? They incorporated the county that Newberry, South Carolina is, the slave master. So imagine one of his descendants who benefited off of the exploitation of those slaves, and he's a wealthy man today, and he was the one dating this girl, and he wanted to come out with a song to the Marvin Gaye beat. Am I wrong for feeling a certain kind of way and not just wanting to accept this motherfucker? Well, that's how I look at it when I see this dude, Robin Thicke. Now, I don't know his background, where he derived from. He might not even, his family might not even been in the U.S. during those times. But me understanding the dynamics and that possibility, it's going to take a whole lot more than you just putting dick to a black female. You understand what I'm saying? For me to believe that you're just not culture vulturing on the thing. It's, where did you grow up? What was your love for this culture? What is your understanding of the meaning of the words of Marvin Gaye's song that you're trying to use? You know what I'm saying? So our people got to do a whole lot more as far as protecting the value of our culture. First, before you can protect it and understand the value yourself, you got to understand what it is. Let's get to the next video, man. So the next, we got the boy. So here go Pharrell Williams. I don't know what's up with this dude.
What the universe has given me.
So listen to this.
Like the ability to,
just because they not Caucasians or Europeans don't mean that they don't just exploit our culture also, bro. All skin folks ain't kin folks. You ever heard that, bro? Southern Force?
Absolutely. I thought that was a Southern word for a minute.
Well, my grandma and them from Texas, and Louisiana, so that's where I always heard it, right? And as a child, I didn't really understand it. 6, 7, 8 years old, I didn't really understand it until later during experience. You, especially among us with the psychological issues and traumas passed down, being detached away from each other, from our village, from our community, from our tribes, not understanding the knowledge of self. You get a lot of brothers that psychologically lost, and they want to be and cling to the strength. And the strength in this country, hands down, is white supremacy. Institutionalized white supremacy, right? Whether it's the banks, that's who own the banks. They got the head start and got that cracking off the get-go. Whether you're talking about the political system, they already got got ahead and laid down legislation that made sure it was loopholes to continue their control and the ability to keep us in our place dormant, passive, and passive to the government and their overreaches of power against the people in the United States, the original Americans in the United States, right? On top of that, the education the education system, right? If what did Rockefeller say? He wanted to educate a workforce.
That's a fact.
You understand what I'm saying? So
yes.
they're only educating you so far because you got in a lot of their mind, you got a place, and that's under the boot of white supremacy. But back to all kin folks ain't skin folks. Pharrell Williams. Listen to this. After being found guilty for the biggest copyright infringement in recent history, this is what he said.
Blurred lines issue. It's interesting. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but since you
because we were talking about feeling, and I know that's I know that's what the universe has given me. One of the things it's given me is like the ability to make things.
Doodles, what up?
Reverse engineer a feeling and make a tangible item.
So since what happened, has it changed anything about the way you work? And your chords, your melody, and your words, none of them had anything to do.
This is the only way I know how to make.
Since the blurred lines issue,
it's the only way that I know how to make.
But since
because we were talking about feeling, and I know that's I know that's what the universe has given me. One of the things it's given me is like the ability to make things, is to reverse engineer a feeling and make a
reverse engineer a feeling. A feeling meaning
basically stealing people's shit. Basically, he just put it. He just put shit. That's what we call in the South, putting shit in a pretty ass package and wrap it up in a bow. Nasty work, man. I can't believe that shit.
Work. And I can't believe that he said it. I had to play it like 3 times. I'm like, wait a minute. You just were found guilty. You had to pay the money. And he's asking you, what has that done to your process now? And he said, that's the only way that I know how to do it. I was blessed to re-engineer a feeling. A feeling means something that you felt previously, right? Not a feeling that you have never felt before. So you're going to the emotion and vibe of another song and you're re-engineering it and making it more modern and putting your name and your tag on it. Check this shit out, because it only gets worse for him. You know what I'm saying? It only gets worse for him, bro.
Nasty work, man.
Nasty work. Hold on. Where the hell is that at? So, oh man, I thought I had that video. I got it. Hold on. We're going to find it. Just give me a couple minutes, because this was crazy, bro. Yeah. I said, man, this dude just said that, and then I know y'all was looking for some CS2 back content. He doesn't interest me no more. Nothing but his money interests me. And when that lawsuit comes, we'll cover some of that once and keep y'all updated on that. Outside of that, that dude is of no relevance. It's a whole lot other stuff that goes on to where now I'm starting to look at him as a distraction. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. He's distracting us from bigger and better topics that affect the inner city communities nationwide. And not just the inner city communities nationwide, but in ghettos across the planet. You know what I'm saying? So let's focus in on some real content. Most niggas can't do this type of content anyway. They can't speak on these type of issues anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're stuck. Tell me, does this beat sound familiar to you? Southern Forest, hold on. Let me give you that. Vanilla Ice, that's another one. You know what I'm saying? Hammer Velvet Northern Soul. Tell me if this beat sound familiar to y'all. Slim Shady. That's a great track, but it's the beginning. Catch the beginning because I'm going to play the other song as soon as it's done. Catch this beginning and y'all tell me in the chat if y'all catch it. Y'all didn't catch it, huh? Let me see if my boy caught it. Southern Force, did you catch it, bro?
Is that the that is Ice Baby?
Nah, we gonna do it one more time because I'm finna play it after this, and I want to see what they say in the chat. Get interactive. Just that part. Let's see what they say in the chat. They say the Beastie Boys, then Lee. Newsflash, Kevin, the white man is not the ruler of the universe. Bubba Sparks, he ain't even smashed a like, but got something to say. Make sure y'all bang that like button on y'all way in. Machine Gun Kelly, laugh out loud. Eminem is on one today. 1-800 Brick City, salute, bro. Loot for the loot, Mike B, Kid, Carolina Connect. Double X Frank Nitty, no Southern Force, Slim Fat Dude, Mad Judah, Selena, Lunch Meat, G-Mac 2-1. I didn't even see G-Mac. Elvis, only way was to steal. We really own the culture vultures. We really on the culture vultures tonight, right? The Island Boys, yeah. Oh, they just keep coming, and our people just, they steal our ideas and inventions and patent it. Yeah, that's a fact. Mike, nah, he not. I know his baby mama from high school. So nobody didn't catch that. Yeah, they said it was World War II. Yeah, I see. I just Googled it. John B. have a black baby mama from Long Beach. She went to Million High School. 8 kids at barber. So there's him having a black baby mama. Is that like sufficient enough? You know what I'm saying, to appropriate the culture without it being culture vulture? I'm asking for a friend. No accountability from the European. Don't talk politics with them. Right. Stay on that pilgrim, dudes. Oh, man, the caucasity, man. Sick of these freeloading people. Yeah. Pull your bootstraps up. Now, lace up your bootstraps and work hard. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to hear that.
He one of them reptilians, man.
He one of them
way in the metaverse and shit.
Right.
Ain't nobody care his weird shit.
For real, been a servant for the masses. Don't trust African Bible. They sold us first to all black people is not from Africa. No, all black people are not from Africa. We're not saying that, brother. But they sold us. No, Africans didn't sell us. Different tribes sold different tribes. The same way they didn't look at themselves as all Africans. They looked at themselves based upon their culture, their tribe, their religious beliefs. And war captives for thousands of years had already been slaves. If you catch a war captive you spared his life, you know what I'm saying? He would be your slave. But even then, we're going to get into that video. You know what I'm saying? The difference between slaves. You just took me somewhere else, Mr. EBK, but that's a misnomer, bro. Looking at history of slavery with a 2025 mentality, when the mentality back then it was different. Fulanis and Hausas and all of those people warring with each other, but it wasn't chattel slavery even then. And a slave could earn his freedom if he helped protect the family. If he was respectable, even as some of the Fulanis who were Muslims, if he was a Muslim and a good Muslim went to the masjid and accepted Islam, that you can win your freedom after a certain time. So those people, they didn't have jails. So those peoples, because they don't have prisons, if they at war with a rival tribe and they needed guns, the Europeans seen they needed guns and they remedied that problem. So it wasn't Africans sold us. The Africans specifically targeted the Hebrews and sold the Hebrews to them. You know what I'm saying? Those Israelites that believed in it, because we had ended up coming to a point of nobility. We came with knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So we could rise up top. And it's just like today modernly, bro. If you rise and doing something positive, it's gonna be a whole bunch of people with a crab in a bucket mentality that's gonna be hating on you. You know what I'm saying? But let me see. So none of y'all I ain't seen nobody who I haven't seen nobody who haven't checked out what beat that was. That's crazy. King Buck, wow, salute.
You lost me.
He said dreadlocks and matted dirty hair are two different things. Yeah, for real, bro. If you ain't wearing animal skin, you is exploiting non-African culture. Yeah, beach, it gives people the knowledge that the true power comes from within oneself and not the church. Crazy if you black, these bras want you to pay, they leave you, but when they with the whitey, they end up paying them child support and the other money. Bro, yeah, Holly Berry went out asshole back.
I remember that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His daddy was the daddy on Growing Pains. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Man, it used to piss me off when I used to hear them folks say dreadlocks are from black people not washing their hair, shaking my motherfucking head, ignorant as hell. Hey, that shit on, bro. Their stereotypes do not piss me off, bro. And you know what's crazy? I get a kick.
That's crazy.
I get a kick. I get a kick out of now if they call me the N with the hard, or yeah, I might go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I could catch my but outside of that, bro, all that, bro, they are so ignorant, right? Because a majority of the Caucasians in this country are I think they're like 83% of them or 73% of them are on welfare. So the government keeps them fighting us because nobody wants to be at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So it keeps them fighting us as we're the issue, we're the problem, right? Us, the Jews, the homosexuals, the leftists, we're all the problem of every white man in the United States. We're the reason they're miserable, etc., etc. That's why Trump plays on that, on those ignorant white supremacist ideals. He understands their nature. He understands that privilege that they have. He understands their caucasity, right? So they blame everything on us and don't realize that the government was designed to keep them fighting with us, designed to keep the poor whites in the same situation as us. You know what I'm saying? While the rich get richer. It's crazy. Right. So, it's an old extortion move. Somebody got to be the bad guy, right? It's the goddamn niggers. Yeah, so that song, I'm finna tell y'all, we gonna play it one more time. None of y'all couldn't even get it. That's crazy. Here it go. When this song starts, you gonna hear it.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
That was it, bro.
Damn, the guitar and everything.
Dun 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 dun. Come.
It might seem crazy.
This dude, he said that's the only way that he can make music, bro. And that's the song he stole that. So that's going to be probably another big lawsuit against him, homie. You know what I'm saying? Stealing shit. All kin folks is not skin folks. So we going to go, before we go to that, let's go to Katy Perry, right? Y'all remember Katy Perry?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get to that. Bang that like button if y'all up in here. Katy Perry acknowledging her cultural appropriation isn't respectable. It's expected. Isn't respectable. It's expected. In an interview during his podcast, Pod Save the World, Black Lives Matter activist D-Ray McKisson chatted with singer Katy Perry. During the interview, Perry brought up her problematic history of appropriating both Black and Asian cultures in past performances and music videos. Most of Perry's cultural appropriation occurred a few years back. The most notable happening in 2013 during her American Music Awards performance, where she blatantly stole and westernized Japanese culture. And with her 2014 This Is How We Do music video, where she utilized and employed hairstyles and negative stereotypes associated with Black culture. The public response to the interview generated mixed feelings. Some applauded Perry for acknowledging her past mistakes, while others heavily critiqued the singer for various reasons, with some being that she had ulterior motives for doing so due to the recent drop of her album, Witness. The 2-minute video, however, brings up several deeper issues that need to be addressed. First off, nowhere in the video did Katy Perry explicitly apologize to the Black and Japanese women whose culture she appropriated, whereas instead she offered a simple anecdote of a conversation about the topic happening between a friend and her. I listened and I heard and I didn't know, Perry said, bringing up the fact that as a 32-year-old white woman, she has the privilege to say that at the time she didn't know or understand the problem with distastefully misrepresenting and stealing from other cultures under the guise of appreciation. How you don't know or understand that people have a problem with it? Now that's the caucasity of the Caucasians, nigga. Oh, I didn't know or understand that people would have problems with distastefully misrepresenting and stealing from other cultures under the guise of appreciation. I thought that it was just all fun and games for everyone. Just have at it. It's all good and fun. You know, I'm going to get rich off of it. I thought you guys loved me. That's crazy, bro. Offering up your lack of awareness as justification isn't a valid or sincere apology, Katy Perry, especially in a society where while white celebrities have the opportunity to wake up bright and early in the morning to pick and choose which culture they want to steal from today, Black girls and women are prevented from obtaining their education because their natural hair is unacceptable or they are discriminated against in the workplace. So the sisters is on Katy Perry from her not properly apologizing after they told her that. But there was, okay, we could get rid of that song now. We already had that. Let's go to Miley. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all remember Miley Cyrus. Yeah. Miley Cyrus. You know what I'm saying? Miley Cyrus did a whole 180
Now, I wanted to give my 2 cents on this whole Miley Cyrus apologizes to hip hop topic because if you don't know, that's exactly what happened the other day. So, of course, let's not waste any time and let's start talking. First, really quickly, let me just refresh your memory. There was a time a couple years ago when Miley Cyrus was actually in hip hop. You might remember that she dropped an entire album that was very much hip hop inspired. There were a lot of rap collaborations
Mike
on that
Will
specific
made it,
project,
right?
and it was also co-produced by a hip hop producer, which is Mike Will made it. One of her biggest songs to date, which is We Can't Stop, that was also on this album, was also produced by Mike Will made it. You might also remember that song called 23 featuring Miley, Wiz Khalifa, and Juicy J. So pretty much Miley Cyrus had a hip hop phase. She was making hip hop inspired music. She was collaborating with a lot of hip hop artists and of course getting co-signed by them. And last but definitely not least, she was thriving off of the hip hop culture monetary wise. So a couple years after her hip hop phase in 2017, she did an interview with Billboard where she briefly talked about hip hop, and this is what she said. So the interviewer was pretty much asking her about her new album that had dropped at that time, and this was her response. Did folk singer Melanie Safka influence you? She did, and I grew up with her, but I also love that new Kendrick Lamar song, Humble. Show me something natural like yes with some stretch marks. I love that because it's not come sit on my dick, suck on my cock. I can't listen to that anymore. That's what pushed me out of the hip hop scene a little. It was too much Lamborghini, got my Rolex, got a girl on my cock. I am so not that. As you can see here, Miley Cyrus was making it very clear. She does not mess with hip hop at all. Although she did praise Kendrick in the same sentence, that's not what matters here. This is a person who on a major level profited off of the hip hop culture, and now she was bashing it. As you can imagine, she got a lot of backlash for this, and people weren't rocking with her trashing hip hop after skyrocketing her career with the help of it. Now, fast forward to 2019, and Miley Cyrus has apologized to hip hop. So let's check out what she said. Her apology is actually in the form of a YouTube comment. I know, very strange, since we're talking about someone of her stature. I mean, Miley Cyrus is huge. I mean, you don't see too many celebrities commenting on YouTube videos about them, especially if it has a connection to their controversial past. So yeah, that's exactly what happened. A girl by the name of As Told by Kenya made a YouTube video about Miley Cyrus being problematic, and here we have Miley Cyrus casually dropping a comment apologizing to hip hop. So let's read exactly what she said. Just watched your video. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak up. Being silent is not like me at all. I am aware of my platform and have always used it the best way I know how and to shine light on injustice. I want to start with saying I'm sorry. I own the fact that saying this pushed me out of the hip hop scene a little was insensitive, as it is a privilege to have the ability to dip in and out of the scene. There are decades of inequality that I am aware of, but still have a lot to learn about. Silence is a part of the problem, and I refuse to be quiet anymore. My words became a divider in a time where togetherness and unity is crucial. I cannot change what I said at that time, but I can say I'm deeply sorry for the disconnect my words caused. Simply said, I fucked up and I sincerely apologize. I'm committed to using my voice for healing, change, and standing for what's right. Miley. So yeah, there we have Miley Cyrus apologizing to hip hop. What are my general thoughts regarding this entire situation? First of all, I want to say that yes, she apologized, which is a really good thing because it does show some kind of character. But keep in mind, this apology is a little bit, actually, it's way too late. Miley Cyrus saying what she said about hip hop tells me that she genuinely believed and felt every single word that she said. I'm not going to bash her for that because, you know, what is done is done. But what I'm going to say is it definitely showed that she does not care about hip hop on any kind of level. For her, it was simply a means to an end. After reaping all those rewards, she decided to trash this genre and speak badly about it. Extremely whack move, and she knows it herself. But what I'm asking myself now is she saying this because she wants to make hip-hop inspired music again? Is she trying to squeeze her way into hip-hop once again? Could that be why she's apologizing in the first place? And another reason as to why she may be apologizing might be because of Old Town Road, because don't forget that Lil Nas X succeeding also meant that Billy Ray Cyrus succeeded. So maybe she felt compelled enough to right her wrongs and apologize because of that. No matter the reason, done is done. She came into hip-hop willingly, left hip-hop, decided to speak badly about hip-hop, and now Miley Cyrus has officially apologized to hip-hop. What do you personally have to say about this entire situation? Obviously, everyone who watches my videos are hip-hop fans, and that's what this entire channel is dedicated towards. So I want to ask you guys, do you forgive Miley Cyrus now that she's apologized to hip-hop? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.
Bang that like button, man. We finna get into some real deep shit too, man. So I hope y'all into it. But first, we ain't finished with the Mountaineer trap lore fed. Let's get to this real quick, and then we're gonna get into something a little bit more deep. We always gonna try to bring something, drop some jewels, man. We here to constructively build with our people. We ain't finna be up in here talking about bullshit all the time. We gonna flame some motherfuckers up. You best believe we gonna have. There's a time for war. There's a time for peace. There's a time to heal, and it's a time to kill. But right now, we building, man. We healing. Let's get to this real quick. Trap Lord
I have to be honest about this episode. Chronic was literally the best person on here, and there's a reason for that, because he wouldn't stray away from asking Trap Ross the questions that we really wanted to know, because Chronic has basically done his research. No matter what he said throughout this thing, he knows enough about Trap Ross where he really just doesn't like him. And I get it. I really do understand it. And it's not because he's got all of these followers. It's the message that he tries to put forward. Now, my belief actually is that Trap Ross really is a Fed, and he will talk about what he does and the research he does to make up his documentaries. And if this doesn't sound like police work, then you lot can just, you know, switch this off and change it, because at the end of the day, this is exactly what the Feds would be doing.
Did you say, wait, bro, did you say who done it?
I basically said the rumor of the person that was on the songs talking about we did that, and then that allegedly two of them had fled to, I think, Ghana or Nigeria or something, and then one of them was still about on another case. I could say who, but like, you know what I mean?
So when Lauryn Hill says, I don't mind, my music's not for white people, I don't want them to buy my music, she's cancelled. This is why. This is why. Big up Lauryn Hill.
Big up Lauryn Hill.
Understand it. We're not the same, and you're going to start doing other stuff that you're not doing in your community. It's mad.
But I feel like if you watch one of my docs to the end, if you're a young guy in that life, the message you're going to get from that is don't be involved, don't snitch on yourself, don't go down that path. I feel like people say you glamorize it. I don't think I glamorize it. I think by the end of the story, you're going to realize that this is not a path that you should follow, and I'm discouraging people from going down that path.
Now, Trap Ross.
Bro, do you see how he tried to deflect and change the conversation to what he wanted? People said that I glorify it. Nobody is talking about you glorifying. He tried to absorb the glorifying that came from his own mind and narrative and focus his attention on that to deflect. He was fast talk. That nigga was like a white CS2 back right there. That nigga deflected all of that and went to talking about, man, if you don't answer the question, but watch the brother on the far left. Now, mind y'all, these are some brothers in the UK, and this is where he's from, bro. These peoples have better knowledge and understanding about where he came from, what he got going on, and his whole get down. Pay attention. You always gonna have an old house nigga, a sambo, that's always trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. So accepting, man. Y'all peoples is real. I love our people, man. But y'all be too accepting, man. Y'all be too motherfucking nice with other motherfuckers, but always want to turn that negative energy on your own. We got to work on that, man. We got it. Blacks, we got to do better, man.
Has some really smart answers. Like, what he's trying to say is actually just really not true. He does glamorize it. And if you don't believe me, go and watch some of his docs or go and watch them and tell me. Yeah, he might talk about what they done, but he'll always mention the fact of how powerful it made them, how it made them feared, how it made them scared. So if someone's really living that life, they're just going to think, this is how I can do this. This is how I can do that. Like, this is how I can get away or rise myself to the top and become a bad boy or just become a top gangster. And this is what Trap Ross is trying to miss out. But you know, the RTM cast, like I said, especially Chronic, isn't trying to hear this nonsense.
I know you get what I mean. I know you probably believe that, or you probably tell yourself that, but from what I've seen, that's definitely not how it comes.
Just singing along.
But the music glorifies it. I don't. That's the way I see it.
Watching the whole thing to music that glorifies that and sing along to it as well.
Yeah, I do.
Of course.
So then, what you?
It's just hard. It's singers.
Frank, can you please give me your opinion on what I was saying about what I didn't like about what
I was getting onto I was going to talk about the Broad Day situation because I reported on that situation. It was an ongoing thing, and I left a lot of things out in that video that I'd heard and that I found out. I'm not going to confirm because it's an ongoing madness. You know what I mean?
And you know what?
Would you do that, Trap Lord?
I leave stuff out. I do leave some stuff out. That's what
I'm saying. Look
I
at the
do
difference.
leave some stuff
Yeah,
out.
come on.
They talking about it's an open matter. This is our community, so we always are mindful of that because we come from that. He doesn't come from that, and he doesn't give a fuck. Who cares if another nigga go to jail? If I can figure it out, the cop should have figured it out, and I'm going to get paid off of it. Fuck them black motherfuckers. Fuck their community. That's essentially what his actions are demonstrating. And this dude, he definitely voiced his concerns, but look how happy he is to be up here with this mountaineer, right? And then watch how these dudes, just pay attention and tell me if you see the same thing.
I'm just saying, I'm calling respect what it is. If I'm saying that's his way of thinking as a black man, and I'm telling him, just say, bro, this is going to America, you know. It's not shit. He don't give a shit. But he gave a shit.
Now, I think Young Spray is wrong when he said that, to be honest with you. I don't think it's his thinking because he's a black man. I just think it's Tanks' thinking because he's not as big as Trapper Ross. Because I honestly think if Tanks had a bigger platform, and I'm not saying he doesn't, but I'm saying in comparison to what Trapper Ross has and what Tanks has, it's not even comparable. But I honestly think if Tanks had a bigger platform, he would have a lot more to say.
No, but there's madness I find out that I don't put out there. My thing is, it's like I need a few pieces of evidence to feel like I can say something. I'm not just going on a Reddit comment. I'm going, okay, Smirk, he's got a lyric, then there's legal paperwork,
he's not in the state.
Then there's social media.
He's not in the state.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Two things. I asked you before I was interrupted. Where do you draw the line?
Look,
yeah, doesn't
check.
matter. Interrupt.
No, he's getting mad. He's getting mad. With me? Oh.
Look. So the first time he asked him, where do he draw the line? And he said, well, you know, I do keep some stuff out and those dudes interrupted. This is when niggas become part of the enemy's plan. This is Beast and this is CEO Reek, bro. And the host is let me see who's over there, Dix Ebony. Right? This is exactly what goes on. To steer away from him being held accountable and having to answer the question, these niggas don't even understand the stage, bro, or what's going on. These niggas is so caught up in trying to clout chase. Listen to this brother question again, and look how they break it down, bro.
Two things. I asked you before I was interrupted. Where do you draw the line?
You interrupted you.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Interrupt.
No, he's getting mad. He's getting mad. With me? Oh.
Look, both of them dudes talking, they trying to laugh it off, bro. The man's having a conversation of substance. You niggas is goofies. Niggas don't even understand the landscape.
What I'm saying is, I did ask you before, and I was interrupted. I'm just stating a fact, and that question still remains. Where do you draw the line in reporting and potentially?
There's no line.
Stop answering.
When it's visibly getting frustrated because.
Bro, did you hear this house nigga, Sambo ass nigga? He answered that already. No, he didn't, you dumbass nigga. And why is you trying to let him off the hook? Is he working with the motherfucking MI6? Or CIA or whoever the fuck Trap Lord Ross working with? This shit is crazy.
No one's actually letting him finish what he needs to say.
It was you waiting on no one to go viral. It's coming, you know. I know Tanks no do that.
Listen, it's a question that's out there is where do you draw the line? Because you can report on certain things, but there's a line of where it is snitching.
I'll elaborate.
Yeah. So and okay, answer that question first, because I don't want to interrupt.
So more specifically, where I would draw the line, I've found madnesses that I've seen in comments and I've pieced together and I thought it sounds like this happened. But if there's not something else I can go on, and that's why I think the open case thing is it's a bit of a red herring, because it's kind of like, I need the case. I need the case to be open to see the paperwork, because the feds, when the Fed case came out,
I need the case open to read the paperwork. It's a red herring. This is his justification on why he needs to speak on open cases, report on open cases. This is nasty work, bro.
Lil Durk. There was bad stuff in there that I didn't know. And I've done videos on Durk through Von and stuff. I've talked about Durk in the Von video about what they got into. They had an attempted murder case that was on camera in 2019. But I didn't have more details about all of these things going on with the murder in Los Angeles until later on down the line. When that paperwork came out and the case is open, Feds already got you. Feds have already bagged him. Then they put out the
Feds don't already got you just because the feds have brought these allegations. See, this is what happens when you get practical application and you get actual motherfuckers who read the paperwork and don't know how it applies to life. I could read to you my indictment right now and that I beat the feds on. I could read everything. I'm finna grab it. Let me grab it real quick. And I beat this trial. A jury of 12 jurors found me not guilty. But what he's doing is jumping the gun just because you were arrested and prejudicing you, reporting with a big ass platform from the UK who don't know what the fuck you talking about, don't understand practical application, and that these in the United States we get what's called the Sixth Amendment, right? That means that's the right to confrontation clause, all evidence and witnesses against you until the statements and evidence that was submitted by the prosecution goes through a trial and survives the crux of cross-examination. It is not a fact, it's only an allegation. Because once it goes through the crux of cross-examination, it's only then that a juror can decide, well, hold on, that don't sound right. You know what I'm saying? You said that you got your nose broke and that he punched you, but we got 17 cameras and nowhere did we see Lamonte punch you. They get to examine all of everything which is submitted as evidence against you. Evidence against you doesn't mean that it's factual evidence against you or that it's being presented in the proper context. That's why you have witnesses. That's why every single exhibit is being analyzed and scanned, presented to the jurors to make a decision whether or not this is either good for you and in your defense or bad against you in your defense. That's only for the jurors to, what these people have done in Big U case, he was one of the pieces of shit that did Big U like that. In Big U case, they take these allegations and they run with it. Christopher Love Boy, Whack 100, No Jumper, and Crackhead Eddie did the same thing. And this dude is saying he gotta do it then. And ain't nobody holding him accountable. If Duse Sims reported that shit right now, and I'm from the set, you niggas gonna say, Deuce, you know better. You know that's some snitch shit, bro. You throwing that nigga under the bus like he've already had his trial and his hearing in court, bro. Like you riding with them folks against him. You don't know whether that man guilty or not. But then you allow a mountaineer to come from Europe, where these people are already calling them trap lord fed, where there's already allegations of them working with some kind of agency and having some kind of cryptic agenda. But nobody's holding him accountable. This is nasty work, bro.
The indictment, it's got way more stuff that I didn't know. That's when I feel comfortable putting it out there, not when it's just a comment. Like I feel like I need a comment, a lyric, and some paperwork.
So, you don't understand what we mean by
last question. Now, I'm not sure who Pinky thinks he's dealing with. No offense, my guy, but he does know. He knows what an open case is, and that's why I said Chronic should have really just been allowed to get as much questions as he possibly could to Trapper Ross, because he was the only one who was really asking valid questions. And I'm sure he kind of knows that this guy isn't stupid. He's not dumb. He's not an idiot. Trapper Ross is smart. We're not arguing that. We're just arguing about the way he conducts himself and actually does investigations, piecing stuff together like a policeman. And you're going to see later on that they're going to continue to get at this point about the fact that he's basically doing the police's work for them.
What we mean, sorry, quick. What we mean by open case here, I mean, someone hasn't been sentenced yet. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's what we mean by it. So if you reported it after the fact, after somebody's been sentenced, then we don't have. But that's what we mean by open case. Because by your statement, I just understood. No, he didn't understand.
He knows. He knows. He's just being smart. He's
that answer didn't make no sense.
Now let me try and get to that specifically, because if I elaborate, maybe it will make more sense. It's like I'm not seeing it as like I'm reporting.
Bro, do you see the Sambo nigga? Like, oh, he don't know no better. Nigga, he's smart as fuck. He know exactly what the fuck he doing. He just articulated it to you. But then Sambo is protecting the nigga. Nigga, is you working with him?
That's nasty work, man.
On an open case, so I'm going to make it worse for them, and the jury's going to be tainted. The way I'm seeing it is that if the case is already open,
fuck how
the
you
CPS
seeing
or the
it.
feds or whatever it is, they had enough evidence to put.
Fuck how you seeing it. Remember the Mountaineer came in earlier when we was talking about how they appropriate our culture and steal intellectual property since the 1800s, and I was breaking that down, and he was like, basically, get over it. He's seeing it how he want to see it. That's what these Europeans do. Y'all allow them in, and they're going to see it how they want to see it and say, fuck you, with no respect for the culture, no understanding for the culture, because they got their own agendas, bro. Exploiting our community, exploiting our culture. Let's go,
case
man.
On you. They had enough information beyond what I've even got and put out there and what I've looked into from the lyrics, so that the way that I see it is that the feds, they're playing their own game over there with their own bag of evidence. They've got your phone tapped, they got your iCloud message, all of that stuff. I'm over here just going on lyrics. I'm comparing it to the paperwork to what's happened. I'm just giving my opinion. But it's like, if you've already been bagged for it, the feds had enough evidence on their private side from your messages that they've got that I've not seen. I'm not tapping anyone's phone listening to messages.
So do you hear Chap Laross's explanation as to why he does this? It does not make any sense what he's saying. He's basically saying that the fact that the feds have opened this case and got this case against you and you're banged in jail is enough for Chap Laross to feel that you're guilty of your crimes. So he's happy to do the whole documentary if he has the right information, documents, backed up with Reddit posts, backed up with lyrics. He'll all piece it together
Bang
to
that
bring
like
forward an
button.
argument as to why you may be guilty. So this is just another Fed movement. This is what I'm trying to say. He could basically do all this stuff and then supply it to whatever prosecution or supply it to whoever for a fee. And that would, effectively be a good idea. Not saying that he just needs to do that, but I'm saying even if they didn't want to do that, he could just sit there, watch his documentaries and know enough. And we know that Chap Laross has got a very large audience. So the RTM team, the RTM cast aren't really trying to hear this. And it's like Chap Laross thinks they're a bunch of idiots. And sometimes they can act stupid. I'll give them that. But in this case, I feel like Chronic especially was not going to hear that whatsoever.
Listening to messages.
I've got not guilty in it from a case where feds have come and got me, and like they didn't. So clearly they thought they had enough evidence, right? You know that?
No, that's fact.
I'm sitting there, wallahi, and I'm sitting there as a man that's got not guilty. So what you're saying does not make any sense.
No, but see, I just done the top 5 video.
It don't matter what they think they've got.
But he's
whatever.
He's not wrong.
No, but I'm saying he's just done the top 5 video.
Do you understand? It doesn't.
What I mean?
You know what I mean?
I'll snitch right now. I'll snitch right now on top 5.
What did he say?
Now, Young Spray has a very valid point because, like I said before, Chap Laross has a very big audience, yeah? And to act like as if what you say doesn't have power and people aren't going to lean and have an objection against these people once they hear your documentary. And this could be somebody's kid talking to their parent about, oh yeah, this rapper or so-and-so person done this and Chap Laross done a documentary, or just sitting down watching, because Chap Laross has a very big audience and people try to downplay the idea that an influencer can have such an influence, but that's exactly what they do. Their social media presence, and someone like Chap Laross is really big. And for him to act like as if what he says isn't doing anything, isn't causing any harm, would just be ludicrous to say at the least.
5, he said if stitched right now.
I just dropped the top 5 video, and look, I'll keep it real. Basically, in that video, I tied him. He's tied to 3 murders, and he busts all of them. He's out here streaming, running around. See? But at the end of the day, when I look at it, I didn't say this in the video yet, but this is my personal opinion. It looked like the cleanest hit you could have ever possibly done.
Imagine that, but he's out here.
But like he's out here, and that's a case that was an open case. It's a closed case.
Now,
he's basically got a year from when they let him out for that case to be refiled. I didn't lie on it, bro.
Nasty work.
not guilty.
I'm saying that the evidence.
I'm saying that the evidence.
I'm saying that the evidence is crazy.
I'm just in to interject because doesn't that sound like something a Fed would say to you while you're sitting in the room waiting for them to interview you?
Things. Because look, he's not guilty of something that you said he was guilty of.
No, but he didn't get not guilty. His case got dropped.
I'm trying to say, like, he's got not guilty of something that you're saying he's guilty of.
No, but what I'm saying is that he basically,
because you said that
his case got dropped. His case got dropped because they basically said you can't use the lyrics as evidence, you can't use the social media gangbanging as evidence. So me putting that out there, no, yeah, exactly, and he's not got convicted. So that's proof that I'm not impacting his case because I done bare videos about him, and he got cases dropped.
Yo. Double jeopardy.
So the way that it works in Canada is that there's basically a year from when the case got dropped for them to refile it, and if you get to a year, it's gone.
Did you wait a year?
Nah.
So as you can see, Trapler Ross kind of contradicts himself here because he's talking about the fact that he doesn't know or tries to allude to the fact that he's unsure about open cases, but then talks about how Canada's judicial system works and the fact that they keep these cases open for a year. And then on top of that, decides that he's still going to drop this documentary. We're just going to call them documentaries, knowing full well that the police could technically use the information that he's gathered to assist them in their case. Let's not be stupid, but like I'm trying to say, Trapler Ross likes to do that a lot, especially when talking around people and debating with people.
You want him in jail?
I don't want him in jail.
Do you see what we mean, bro?
Can you see what
in the future? Can you wait the year?
But why should I even care? This is going on public.
Why should I even care?
Music, and I love the music.
Yeah, but
I love the music. Why should I even care that nigger's going to jail? Why should I even care?
This is fucked up, man. Fucked up, real rat ass nigga, man. It don't make no sense. Like, do you hear what he said, Duse? Talking about, oh, I gotta have it active. Why in the fuck do you gotta have it active so you can fuck around and make content of it? So you can't wait till the case is closed. They need your help to be the dope fiend ass Barnaby Jones and shit to crack the case. Oh, weirdo London Columbo and shit. What the fuck are we doing? Then he gags his ass all the way to fucking the United States and telling on other motherfuckers. You don't even stay here.
He just said that NBA young boy. Somebody clipped this. This Mountaineer said NBA young boy claims he has 19 bodies. I've done my research and he actually has 19 bodies. This is why do you care whether or not he had 19 bodies? Why do you want to research every one of them if you're not a part of that world, bro? Because he's working.
This is nasty work, man. So he's the London version of Law and Order, SVU, right?
He's the London version of Adam 22 and Vlad TV. You know, that's what the fuck he on. Right. That's why he's friends with him. But I got this paperwork. Let's finish this video. Almost finished. I think it's like 2 minutes.
More than a normal listener. Just listen.
That guy's so mad, man. I had to make it local.
Yeah,
man. I had to write it.
Oh no,
yeah, Trap's gonna send us all jail.
Crazy.
Hey, listen. Hey.
Viral moments.
You can see that. Yeah.
Viral moments.
You see some of the cases that
that's for me.
It looks like it's happening, right? Like it looks like because there are some people like Eminem. No one told you could have person with Eminem, but there's nothing you're reporting on Eminem that's gonna hurt him, innit? But the people that you're reporting on that we can see, it seems like there's enough of speculation to say you can tell you on the Central C before the reporting. There's enough speculation to say that, you know what, the people that are on the opposite side of Von. So you reporting on it. So you're basically a member, and this is your way of getting members down.
I'm not a member. No, that's crazy.
In reality, because you know what, yeah, a fan, yeah.
So I'm a gangster now.
No. You're a fan of a gangster. Yeah, so
that's true.
Yeah, you're a fan of a gangster, and then what you're doing?
Got a King Von tattoo.
No, but what he's doing though? Hold on. What he's doing?
Come on.
So if you want an idea of how his tattoo looks, this is Trapler Ross's King Von tattoo.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna end that shit because that shit pissing me off. Them house niggas, them sambos is ain't adding nothing to the conversation, but keep interrupting the dude, and dude is on his Wig, bro. Doodles,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
up, bro? Salute. So look, here goes the indictment. Ain't Trap Lord Ross. If you can't see it, here it goes. 2-page indictment, right?
Right.
And I got the whole discovery. I even got Freedom of Information Act. There was snitches on every unit, all kind of shit, right? But anyway, this all resulted from a prison riot and against the Sereno. And the United States District Court for the Central District of California, this indictment passed December 16, 2009. So I was indicted. The grand jury heard it. They found they made a prima facie showing that a possible crime occurred. So they re-indicted me. I've been in jail at this time about 8.5 years, going on 9 on a 10-year sentence, 120-month sentence, right? The grand jury charges, count 1, 18 USC subsection 111A1B, on or about March 11, 2007, in San Bernardino County, within the Central District of California, defendant Lamonte Deshaun Sims intentionally used force to assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, and interfere with Andres Gutierrez, a Federal Bureau of Prisons correctional officer at the Federal Correction Institution 1 at Victorville, California. While Andres Gutierrez was engaged in the performance of his official duties, resulting in the infliction of great bodily injury. Count 2. On or around March 11, 2007 in San Bernardino County, within the Central District of California, and within the special maritime and territorial jurisdictions of the United States, namely the Federal Correctional Institution 1 at Victorville, California, defendant Lamonte Deshaun Sims intentionally assaulted A. Gutierrez, resulting in serious bodily injury, right? So then, count 3. On or around March 11, 2007, in San Bernardino County, within the Central District of California, defendant Lamonte Deshaun Sims intentionally used force, which resulted in physical contact to assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, and interfere with S. Flores, a Federal Bureau of Prisons correctional officer at the Federal Correctional Institution at Victorville 1, California, while S. Flores was engaged in the performance of his official duties. The violence resulted in serious bodily injury. So that's Andres Gutierrez and S. Flores have went to the grand jury, testified at the grand jury, and made them believe that it was possibly true that I broke Gutierrez's nose, a correctional officer, and I broke uppercutted S. Flores. He fell and tore his meniscus, right? All of this was I got the video footage of all this shit. This shit gonna be in my documentary, right? So that's why y'all can't get the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be in the Marshall Valley. Y'all gonna see me with that fire extinguisher banging niggas upside they shit with a fire extinguisher, chasing them out the unit. Apex predator. You know what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter was, I never assaulted. I don't claim those stripes I didn't earn. I never assaulted neither one of those correctional officers. If you notice, both of them have Mexican last names, Hispanic, Spanish last names. That they were upset because we demolished and embarrassed the Serenos in Victorville. And I was the savior. You know what I'm saying? When I mean the savior, they started it. They ran in a brother's cell, non-affiliate from Vegas, right? Dope fiend, drug deal going wrong, whatever it was about, right? I come out my cell, what's going on? They ran up in Seymour's cell. Did they holler at y'all? The Blood's like, nah. I look over at the table with the Crips, they holler at y'all? They're like, nah. Mind you, the essays that ran into the cell with knives. and they got about 30 to 40 essays standing outside the cell. So you're in that cell, and there's 6 essays in there with knives, going to work, with 30 to 40 standing outside your door. And the Bloods is standing here, they ain't did nothing. I looked at the Crips, did they holler at y'all? Nah. What the fuck y'all niggas standing around for? Nigga, work call. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, get active. You up in there, nigga, wondering where the fuck is where the fuck is the rescue crew coming? The police done ran out the motherfucking back unit. You know what I'm saying? The police ain't coming up in here. You're finna die, bro. Unless we stand up for it. I want to go home. I understand the dynamics, bro. The Serenos know they win 0 fights with the hands. They're not really that good at throwing hands. So their strength is unity. Their strength is structure. That's where they have a tactical advantage. Their organizational skills. If one of us get into it with them, it's going to be a riot. So because we can't put our hands on them without first giving them the opportunity. The fact that they were so big and bad that they put their hands on one of ours without hollering at the Bloods and Crips is a declaration of war. So why is these tough ass Bloods and Crips still standing around? Nigga, work call, nigga. Them niggas could get it too. And that's what happened. They start throwing chairs once they see we running to them. We couldn't get to them. They throwing chairs, trying to keep us back or whatever. And it's, mind you, it's about 25 blacks that's on this side and behind us. But it's really only 12 blacks that's really trying to get active, bro. The other ones is behind us. So to them, they thinking it's 25 niggas that's coming at them and they throwing chairs because them niggas is behind us. But keeping it G, a lot of these Bloods and Crips is busters. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas talk all that tough shit, but when it comes to pushing that knife, them niggas ain't ready trying to push that knife. You got soldiers from everywhere. I done ran into some of the coldest gangsters that really do that. In fact, they inspire me. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, I know I want to go home the same way I came in. I expect that you want the same. So I understand the dynamics that for you, you got to be able to rely on me. I got to be able to rely on you. And if we don't got that, then somebody's going to end up dying, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we get cracking. They throwing the shit, we can't get it. I seen the police run out the office. Automatically, I'm very, very keen. I run in the office and grab the fire extinguisher. When I sprayed, the essays couldn't see shit. Get them niggas. They start running. They start panicking. See, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Now the troops is rallied up. They grabbing broomsticks, they knives, locks in the socks. They beating the shit out these essays as they run up out the motherfucking unit. Right? So I make it up in there. The dude got stabbed 17 times. Right? He got no shirt on. He just got his boxers on. And I get to the room. I'm thinking they still got some more in there, but they all had ran out the unit with him. So I'm like, bro, you all right? He like, yeah, but he kind of dizzy, right? Unknowing they knocked him out 2 times and woke him up, still beating him and stabbing him. You know what I'm saying? So I said, nigga, get your shit, nigga. We finna go get them niggas. So I tell all you niggas, we going to the hole, we on camera, get your shit. We finna go tear these niggas up, right? So niggas like, oh, the gate's locked, right? Well, A lower and A upper is in the same fence with us, so we'll get they homies, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you mean the gate lock. If they made it out the gate and the gate lock, then we going to A lower or A upper and we finna tear they homies up. them niggas really was happy that we did what we did. They didn't want no more. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't one of these type of niggas you can just turn on like a light switch and the nigga turn it back off. When I go, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? So I tell them niggas, nah, fuck that, we gonna go get them. So we leaving up out the building. Soon as I get out, I seen a paisa, and I turned to him, and he like, no, he squatted all the way there. Me paisa. Say, well, get the fuck up out the way, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You still around and get the fuck on, right? That means he's not a Southern United essay. You know what I'm saying? So I walk through the thing. I come out first. When I come out, I see one of the essays at the table. So I'm off the gate, nigga. Fuck, I'm disrespectful. Fuck Seward, all of that, right? Nigga, he ball up. I'm beating this nigga with the shit, broke his ribs, dislocated his elbow, beating him with the fucking fire extinguisher. The police come and tackle me, bro. When he come tackle me, I'm getting up. The essays see me beating their homie up. They come running from the gate. They done came in like gangsters, right? They done ran and with their dick tucked between their motherfucking legs, and they trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. You know what I'm saying? How did we leave this motherfucker with our dick tucked between our legs like we got pussies? You know what I'm saying? So they see me beating their homie. Them niggas come running back. And the police see them running. They try to close the gate, bro. When they closed the gate, they did hit the drawdown gate and locked it. And he elbowed the nigga Gutierrez. Mind you, this the same time the other officer had dived at me. So when he dived at me and I fall, I get up, I see Gutierrez in his nosebleed. I'm like, damn, what happened to you? He like, you punched me you hit me in the nose. I mean, I ain't hit you in the nose. It wasn't on no purpose. You know what I'm saying? The nigga's shit already leaking. Unbeknownst to me, it was from an elbow to the nigga nose. You know what I'm saying? From another CO. So they come and see him's cuff up, right? See him's cuff up. I might be able to show y'all some of the video footage if I could find it real quick. I'll show that another time. But in any event, I'm like, man, I ain't cuffing up nowhere. The essay's still outside there. You're not going to, I walk to the hole. You're not finna cuff me up, because I done seen that type of shit happen. The police cuff a nigga up, walk him across the yard, and niggas book him while he cuffed up. Police gonna run. You think the police gonna risk his life to protect you? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we can walk across the thing. So they're trying to force me to cuff up to walk me across the yard. I'm like, man, I'm not doing it. So I stopped and ended up taking 8 or 9 police officers, bro. We got the count on camera. I think it was 8 or 9 COs to take me down. But they eventually take me down. By the time they, mind you, it's lunchtime. By the time they move me to the hole and get to the hole, the essays that we chase out the unit, then rally the troops in the kitchen. They take off on the blacks in the kitchen. Blacks in the kitchen don't even know what's going on. The homie Bot, rest in peace to the homie Bot from Jungle. Them niggas get the word that it was us that got into with the essays on there. Them niggas take off on, what was that, D lower or C upper or D upper, whatever. So the niggas take off on over there. Domino effect. The whole institution is in ruin. The warden is mad. Both of those police really did get injured, but he's saying that I uppercutted him and he fell and tore his meniscus. His meniscus was hurt. We got the medical reports. But I didn't uppercut the nigga. He lying. Gutierrez saying that I took a step back and punched him in a straightforward motion and broke his nose. His nose was fractured. We got the medical report. I didn't do it. But that's not what he said in his statement. That's not what S. Flores said in his statement. So the grand jury got those statements, and without being cross-examined on the stand before the jury, it looks bad. Nigga ready to take deals. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm innocent, man. But shit, nigga, if they offer me 2-3 years, I might just take it. You know what I'm saying? But they wanted me out the way. They like, you can take 10. I'm like, I just did 8.5. That's almost 9 years. Nigga, I ain't never been on the street free with my son. Nigga, what kind of a father would I be if I didn't fight to get home to my son for some shit I didn't do? So they forced me to go to trial by offering me a 10-year deal for some shit I didn't do. And I went to trial, bro. And every one of those statements, every piece of evidence, 17 video camera footage that show not one time me hitting these police. And 12 jurors of my peers found that I was not guilty of all 3 of those counts in that alleged federal indictment, bro. So just the same way that it can appear to be guilty just based on what's alleged, those are only mere allegations. You know what I'm saying? So Trap Lord Ross not giving Big U, not giving what was the other case? He was Lil Durk, right? Not giving them the benefit of the doubt in just convicting them by popular consensus, the general consensus, and taking on the United States Attorney's version of the events, the victims and the snitches version of the events, without first giving that man his day in court. That shit is an injustice, not only to them, but that could be his injustice to you, because he's polluting the jury pool before he ever gets his day in court. One of the jurors or potential jurors that might hear the case in Big U case or Lil Durk case might watch Trap Lord Ross show. They might see it on YouTube. And we're all prone to manipulation, especially if we thinking that we're hearing facts. Or if we hear a lie enough times, you start believing it's the truth. This is a scary time. And you motherfuckers act like y'all don't give a fuck, right? But y'all motherfuckers, if y'all were in that same position with the power of the federal government already against you, the odds already against you, you would want your day in court before you were convicted. Y'all motherfuckers don't give a fuck until it's you or your family. We got a super chat, and then I want to hear what Southern Force got to say to that. Slim Ovo, $19 super chat. Salute, bro. Wes. All right. Go ahead, Southern Force. If you want to build up off of that before we get up out of here, man. I know it was a lot.
No. We need to hear that. A lot of us need to hear that. First and foremost, salute to the Damu Kiwe conversations, man. Man, some jewels been dropped. Man, from knowledge is power to this fucking industry plan. Man, listen to this clown, man. He's that type of person that will activate a case that have DAs talking about thanks to social media. These are the cats that they're talking about, man. They're infiltrating into our neighborhoods, into our tribes, giving up information, exploiting some things, helping police and law enforcement out. Shit, you ain't got to call it 1-800 anymore. All you got to do is just listen to a YouTuber. YouTubers like this. These are the motherfuckers that don't give a fuck about our culture, don't give a damn about our struggle, and we feed them. We line up their fucking pockets so they can exploit us and they can lock us up away or make us look like inferior or shitless. You see what I'm saying? We got to be more careful, be more focused on how we move and what type of information we putting out there. Some of these cats don't even need to be talking about anybody's hood, anybody's politics, anybody's tribe, because they're not from there. Stay your rat ass on the side of that on the other side of that fucking pond and mind your fucking business. That's what you need to do. It doesn't make no fucking sense. And he's not the first, and he damn sure won't be the fucking last. But it's time for us to wake up more and be more mindful how we put our tribal business out there. You know what I'm saying? Because cats like this, they not only feeding on us, but they locking us up when they through draining our resources and our way of life and our culture. That's all I gotta say on that.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'm gonna see if I can find some of the already edited clips from the from the riot file. Be great. Let me see. Be great. I know we got the clip where they counted how many police it took to take me down. I didn't know it was that many. You know what I'm saying? What was it? BLT. Damn, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I can't find it. We finna get into the before we leave. Hold on. I said we was gonna play some positive because the brother was talking about they sold us, right? And that's a fallacy, right? Top fallacies of the Atlantic slave trade. Shout out to Home Team History, one of my favorite educational channels. I hope y'all go over there and subscribe. Make sure you watch some of that with your children.
The topic of the Atlantic slave trade resurfaced. To be honest, I've grown increasingly disappointed in the dialogue. Admittedly, the topic is complex, and it may not be fair to expect any individual to present its full scope. At the same time, social and political ideologies and agendas have tainted the dialogue. Even though I've discussed this topic before, I'm hoping that this video will be the best historical delineation concerning the events of the Atlantic slave trade.
Keyword web, right.
What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. By supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and contributing to this content. The link to Patreon is in the description box below. Also, stay tuned with word from my sponsors.
My name is Howard Dorsey. I'm 54 years old. I'm here to talk about my experience with herbal results. I was getting sick, so I went to the doctor. They told me that my blood pressure was high, my cholesterol was borderline or high, so I was very sick. You know, sometimes I thought I was dying at some point. And I ordered a bottle of olive leaf extract. This is how the bottle comes in. And within the first probably week and a half, 2 weeks, I checked my blood pressure and it was back down to normal. It was like 120/80. My cholesterol went down to 125. You know, I definitely believe that olive leaf extract from Herbal Results saved my life. And that's real. I mean, I recommend it to everyone in my family, my friends, and we've seen a lot of results in that manner as well.
Purchase now at herbalresults.net.
Ava.
Damn. We go from that to this. Let's go.
I've covered this topic before, but it seems that the release of The Woman King intensified the dialogue. I really wanted to wait for the discussion to die down so as to forestall any unwarranted passions. I noticed people from multiple backgrounds were having the debate, providing the best evidence they could for their perspective. However, despite their take on the topic, the overwhelming majority from what I've seen make one critical error. To begin, this video is not intended to excuse or condemn the role of Africans or Europeans in the Atlantic slave trade. The only intent is to try and understand the history from a proper historical perspective. Also, this content is more of a broad summary of findings throughout the years, as a more in-depth analysis would take a series. If interested in a series, please let me know in the comments below. At its root, this video is opinion-based, generated from a perspective developed over years of studying historical African data. The sources that will be presented at the end of this video will back my perspective. However, the core of this content was established by reading in between the lines of history. Thus, it is possible to glean a different interpretation from the one presented here today. So please keep that context in mind. I've seen a number of discussions online regarding the events of the Atlantic slave trade. If you're an individual who knows African history well, you may agree that some of the discussions are adulterated with social or political agendas. In my opinion, the countervailing narrative that often takes place regarding the Atlantic slave trade can be distilled into two simple statements or ideas. The first involves someone concluding with the statement, well, blacks were selling blacks. The other includes someone saying, well, they sold us into slavery. The first statement is usually propagated by people outside of the diaspora, and the latter tends to be a grievance from within the diaspora. The critical error, as I mentioned previously, is the error of an assumed Pan-African model. What does that mean? Well, these two statements are useless ideas. They only serve the modern invention of Pan-African thought. The irony here is that all people, not just Black, have adopted in some form a Pan-African model when discussing the history of the Atlantic slave trade. It's utilized because without it, their argument becomes vacuous. They implement what I like to call selective courtesy. Selective courtesy is acknowledging and respecting the differences between European ethnic groups like Greeks, Romans, Anglo-Saxons, and Celts, while ignoring those same differences amongst African ethnic groups like, say, the Mandinka, Fulani, Yoruba, or Bakongo. The European ethnic groups mentioned historically all had different languages, cultures, and worldviews. They certainly did not view themselves in a pan-European framework. The same is historically true for African ethnic groups. Yet, both parties who advance those narratives are dismissive or ignore these facts altogether, and that is selective courtesy. The real question remains, why have we been so wrong-footed in thinking otherwise when it comes to African ethnic groups? I'll try to elucidate the crux of this video. The reason why the statement, blacks selling blacks, remains erroneous is because the idea or concept of Black people in the way we think of today did not exist in ancient, medieval, or post-medieval Africa. Everyone identified with their own language, culture, and religion. Moreover, the grievance by the African diaspora of, well, Africans sold us into slavery, is disingenuous, because many of us descend from African ethnic groups who were both victims and victimizers. Hopefully, the examples given later in the video will help us understand that. It's an extraordinarily stratified topic. One minor example as to why Pan-Africanism or unified Blackness was completely useless in, say, 15th century Africa is patently demonstrated by the experiences of Portuguese travelers to West Africa and their African interpreters. Both Cadamosto in 1456 and Pedro de Sintra in 1461 were forced to abandon their explorations in the Guinea rivers and Sierra Leone because south of the Rio Grande, they encountered speakers of Southern West Atlantic languages, a language group entirely new to them and their interpreters.
With schizophrenia, it can feel like your symptoms decide what you do and who you can
Home
be.
team history. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe. Let's
I
go.
really want us to take this in. Their African interpreters likely studied several languages of the local region through great effort, but a relatively short distance away, they had absolutely no idea how to communicate with other Africans just south of them. These are all individuals we would identify as so-called Black people. Yet in the 15th century, they couldn't even communicate with one another. The point being, you're not going to identify with someone you can't communicate with, let alone the barriers of culture and religion. This is the principal issue with the blacks selling blacks narrative, because it assumes that these so-called blacks betrayed their own people. Now, on the surface level, in modern discussions, this narrative makes sense given our 21st century paradigm. However, historically and in reality, it has no legitimate function. In general, most Africans from West and Central Africa were enslaved as war captives. The slave trade out of Africa resembled in many respects a prolonged series of small-scale military actions. Most slaves were war captives. Historians have not overlooked the military aspects of acquiring slaves for both the Atlantic and Saharan trades. They fully recognized that war captives provided the bulk of African slaves. These war captives were usually acquired via warring ethnic groups. However, another popular way Africans were enslaved was through something called grand pillaging. This is when raiders would kidnap or invade various communities and peoples. These were the two principal ways Africans were enslaved throughout West and Central Africa. Now, though most Africans from West and Central Africa were enslaved through inter-ethnic conflict, that is, African conflict between different ethnic groups, we do have some accounts that would inadvertently validate the narrative of the 21st century paradigm, meaning the enslavement of Africans involving the same ethnic group. This usually occurred where African city-states were present. The Yoruba and Igbo peoples had city-states that fought for supremacy. In this process of infighting, they would sell individuals technically of their own ethnic group from rivaling city or town states. When the Benin Kingdom resisted the growing demand for slaves at the coast in the mid-17th century, Oyo responded to it. With their fast-striking cavalry forces, the Oyo military leaders launched a series of wars that between 1600 and 1750 brought most of the Yoruba city-states under its sway. These wars produced slaves directly in the form of war captives. The Igbo peoples were known to have independent town states, as scholar Christopher Eric calls them. One group of Igbos allied with a people known as the Akpa, forming what was known as the Oro Confederacy. Many Igbos were enslaved under the grand pillaging of the Oro Confederacy. The significance of city or town states apparently took precedence over ethnic loyalties. One famous African, Olada Ekwano, falling victim to that reality. Unscrupulous Igbo merchants also were not above kidnapping children while passing through the lands of town states other than their own, as we know from the autobiography of Olada Ekwano, who was enslaved in such a manner in the 18th century. As a brief side note, in a previous video, I mentioned the existence of the Oro Confederacy as an example of inter-ethnic slave raiding. However, some continental Africans challenged that idea in favor of identifying the Oro Confederacy strictly as Igbos. Though opinions may vary based on your perspective, I believe it appropriate enough to use as an example of inter-ethnic slave raiding. Now, despite these two inter-ethnic models, it's important to understand that they are the exception and not the rule. The overwhelming majority of enslaved Africans from West and Central Africa were brought about via inter-ethnic warfare or raiding. Countless examples persist throughout West and Central Africa. The issue of identity amongst various African peoples cannot be overlooked or viewed as less important than other identity models around the world. One famous example of inter-ethnic slave raiding is the story of Ayuba Diallo, who was on a journey to sell two enslaved peoples while being captured and sold by the Mande-speaking people himself. His biography, though anecdotal, touches on one of the grievances from the diaspora, rendering it vapid. In other words, Afro-descended people outside of the continent descend from multiple African ethnic groups across West and Central Africa, many of whom were both victims and victimizers. Like I've mentioned before, this is an extremely complex topic, one that is often mishandled in popular discourse. Reflexively, one may view this history as an indictment on African people, and some attempt to position it as such. I think it's quite the contrary. This isn't some unusual display of human violence or recklessness. Powerful African states and empires fought each other for dominion just like any other would around the globe. The only unusual thing about it was that there were so many powerful or competitive African peoples in concentrated areas throughout West and Central Africa. If this history is truly understood, then one would expect consideration regarding the ills of African diversity instead of an all-encompassing indictment of continental African peoples. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.
Hey, salute. I told y'all I was going to bring that to try to give a little perspective to the statement made earlier. It's so much more complex in the mentality. A lot of people who grow up in the United States don't we come under this European indoctrination called education, and we see Africa as a whole, when Africa is as big as China, Europe, and most of Asia can all fit into China. And the same way that you look at the Swedish, the Irish, the Britons, the Germans as different ethnicities and different cultures, they failed to give that same respect to those on the African continent. You know what I'm saying? The most diverse continent on the planet Earth. So that really threw a lens of white supremacy. But in any event, I hope that that was educational for y'all and gave some kind of understanding on it. In any event, look, we up out of here, man. Hit that like button. Tomorrow we got a couple contents, but we're gonna dive into this 50 Cent versus Ja Rule versus 50 Cent versus the Marlon Wayans. So y'all be looking for that in the morning. Shout out to Southern Force. Appreciate you coming to assist me again, brother. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you, King. Y'all make sure y'all go support the brother, follow his channel, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? For when he come with some stuff, y'all be prepared. In any event, love y'all. Damu Kiwe. Conversations.